July 5th, 2011. First order of business is minutes of the past meeting. Any changes, comments, additions?
I'll move to approve them as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Claims. Everyone's had a chance to review whether in person or on the email address or website. Everyone received them. Any thoughts or comments?
One thing I do want to mention, and Devin and I had spoken about it in the past, is I would like us to look into the possibility of employees using rental vehicles, carpooling to conferences and things, so we're not paying multiple mileage per diems.
And we had done, I think it was a couple of years ago, had done some research on it, so I should have a file on it. And at that point, there was question of whether it was, but we'll dig that back out.
I know the county has gone to that, where they use Enterprise,
Yep.
and I think we need
And
to
we
look at
had been in
it.
contact with someone from Enterprise. And
Okay.
But I'll dig that back out.
Any other comments or thoughts? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Morissette?
Yes.
Bernard?
Yes.
Vanslo?
Yes.
Burchell?
Yes. Motion carries. Application for operator's license. Before you, you have a list of a good number of licenses. For regular operator's license for the period of 7/6/11 to 6/30/13. All these people have been checked out by council, or by Nancy, and everything's okay?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Well, I just need to recuse myself.
Okay.
I just have one quick question.
Yes, sir. We have a second first?
Yeah,
Would you want to second it? I'll second it. Okay.
All right, I'll second it.
All right.
I just have a quick question on Shannon Nicolaisen has a Hudson address, but is rated as Woodbury, Minnesota. I
I believe there's a
Donegal,
Donegal
right.
drive over in Woodbury.
Was there a Donegal drive over in Woodbury?
You thought it was in your
I
district, didn't
thought
you?
it was, yeah, I thought this was, and I was trying to figure out how she could be from Woodbury.
All right.
Okay.
Good
Thank
question. All in favor?
you. Aye.
Motion carries.
Do you
And the temp,
mark you down as a vote? since
Yes.
you didn't? Okay.
I vote yes. The issuance of a temporary operator's license to be used July 21st during the Art Action at the Phipps Center is Deborah Monacan.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, we have taxi cab license for Thomas Allen Eby. And again, Marty's checked it out, okay. Anybody have any questions on that?
No, move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On the next item, we have information, the use of credit and debit cards. We gave them the information on Thursday.
Well, he called on either Wednesday or Thursday, and I gave him what numbers we could come up with, and we did not hear back from him, so.
So we'll just keep this on and we'll take a look at it again probably next month. Want to make sure that he's got all the information.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next item is number 6, which is the revised St. Croix EMS bylaws, RE Hudson Hospital member. Laura, you want to take this?
Sure.
As a representative?
Sure. After the consultant was in this winter, one recommendation that was made was that there always be a member of the Hudson Hospital and clinics on the EMS commission. In the past, the bylaws have read that the member at large can be from the City of Hudson medical community. The consultant felt like that was broad and might not be useful unless we have someone from the hospital on the commission. After a lot of discussion, what we came up with is the language that's at the bottom of the page. So the at-large member would be from the Hudson Hospital clinics. The nomination would be submitted from the hospital to the EMS chief for approval prior to the April appointments. It will take place biannually. And where a lot of the discussion came in was about the voting privileges of this member. And what the commission decided was, as is shown, that this person shall be a voting member except in the case of financial or contractual matters. Because they're not a taxing authority, it was really felt like the only people who should be voting on those matters are the representatives of the various municipalities.
Let me ask a what if, is if this is a mayoral appointment, you're suggesting that you don't have a say in that position as the mayor?
The mayor has never appointed Eric, is Eric here?
I don't have the bylaws
The,
with me.
the mayor has never appointed that at-large member, has
Not the
he?
at-large
No,
member.
it's always been a nomination from the hospital.
No.
Well, or people have expressed
The
interest to the EMS chief. Right.
And I bring it to the EMS commission for final approval.
Okay.
So it's not that we're bypassing council or the mayor, it's just we're being a little more specific about where that individual should come from. And we're also specifying the extent of their voting privileges. So if that's
Any
agreeable
thoughts?
to
Oh,
you.
yeah, I think, I mean, the point, I assume, is because the EMS works with the hospital,
It's an important
clinic
partnership,
and-
absolutely.
so forth, in medical direction and protocols and stuff like that, gets advice from them, is that right, Eric?
We get our own medical direction. Do you
Yeah,
need-
why don't you get it?
We're still responsible for all of our own medical direction, which is separate than working from the hospital, so.
medical
but
director is
For
not
medical
from the
director is not,
Oh,
not part of Hudson Hospital, so.
well, for some reason, the commission thought it was
Yeah.
helpful to have
Well, and
someone
it's because they work so closely together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an obvious relationship that we should continue to foster.
Yeah, it's,
But I
we're-
can see where they should not be, for example, voting on borrowing for new ambulances or the per capita share, whatever it is.
And the reality is, they could be a tie-breaking vote.
right.
There's 5
Yeah.
members, they could be a tie-breaking vote in a situation where we're borrowing, we're raising per capita, and the commission just felt like we should limit the extent of their voting.
Any other comments from the finance department? Seems like a reasonable recommendation.
Yep.
Want to make that motion?
Sure. I'll move that we approve the bylaw change as printed.
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion, any more discussion? Eric, you have anything else? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Don't get too far away. We have item 7, consider fleet replacement plan for the St. Croix EMS vehicles. Eric, you want to take this? Did you have the worksheet, or you
You
want
can
to?
take it, and he
Huh?
can, how about if I take it and he can answer questions? Is that all right?
Certainly.
Okay. There's, included in your packet is what the commission has looked at for a 3-year fleet replacement plan. There are a number of vehicles that need to be replaced, or in one case, an ambulance that needs a new chassis. So what we are looking at, and just for tonight, we're strictly looking at the purchase of a new chase vehicle. There's 2 quotes that were received. We're recommending that the Ford Expedition be purchased at a price of $26,099 with existing cash on hand. The plan would be to purchase a second chase vehicle in 2012, also with existing cash on hand. I don't want to muddy the waters too much, but I want to just prepare finance, because in the very near future, possibly our next meeting, we may be discussing the possibility of financing the purchase of a new ambulance to replace 5184 and the remounting of 5182 with a new chassis. That 135 plus the 96 is about 230,000. We're looking at borrowing from our existing,
From the general fund.
from the general fund, from our reserve.
You're separating just to keep it simplified?
Separating it because we haven't, at EMS, everyone hasn't agreed on the repayment plan. And that borrowing plan is also going to be somewhat contingent upon everyone signing a 5-year contract
Okay.
within the EMS commission. So I don't want to muddy that tonight. We're just voting on the purchase of the chase vehicle, but I want you to be aware of it. This is just one part of an overall fleet replacement plan.
I think one of the things that I would like to see from that is we need to have a plan. We need to amortize this debt. I don't know how long you were going to amortize it.
There's a memo in here
Yeah.
that I did prepare.
Right.
And these numbers are slightly different than what,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
these numbers are slightly lower, but I just did a 5-year amortization.
Okay.
Made some assumptions, and then it kind of, I mean, I've got the detail, but I basically said these would be the monthly payments from this month to this month. Assumed
Right.
one this year, one next year. Those are all the things we'd have to.
I think one of the concerns I have is if you go back to the last 3 years operating, We borrowed $90,000 to fund operations.
Thank you for bringing that up, because one thing I would like to see us do, if possible, is can we do an internal transfer? In other words, can the cash that we'd be using to purchase this vehicle, can we essentially refund that into the 90,000 that was, can we
the
put
EMS
that back
commission
into the
can move it.
capital?
Yes, you can, it would
So
take a
it-
motion to do that by the EMS
Essentially, we
commission.
are paying it back by purchasing
Sure.
these vehicles from our operating funds.
But going forward on the major, not that 25 isn't a major purchase, but the rest of the
Right,
couple $100,000,
right.
if you were to go back the last 3 years, we don't have the cash flow to pay this
Right.
back.
But some things have turned around in the last year and a half, and we're
But I would
feeling
like
more
to see
confident.
that in a written estimate and projections for cost savings. I think Eric and I have talked on the phone about that we need to have, here, we're gonna save 20,000 here, and we've got this coming. And if we need to make a request to keep our fee up, that's part of the plan.
Right,
We need to replace our equipment, but it's gotta make sense. And I think there was another municipality that said they might be interested in funding this for us.
Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but.
Okay.
One thing that we have talked about is potentially financing that new ambulance this year. And instead of financing the remount next year, we could maybe push
Push
it
that
out a
out
little
for
bit if
2
we need
years.
to.
Okay.
To keep an eye on cash flow.
Okay.
So I just want to prepare everyone, and, but tonight, we're just moving forward the purchase of the Chase vehicle.
But at the end of the year, this year, we're projecting a cash balance or a profit of
It'll be the
$245,000.
cash balance.
Okay,
The cash balance as of 1/1/11 is 100 and.
so we have about a $40,000 profit,
56,000 is what we're.
$56,000
And it's early in
profit.
the year, but that was, they'd asked for, extrapolating our costs out, extrapolating our
Sure.
runs out.
Well, we have to do that, and we should probably do it for the next 3 years, if we're going to make a loan to it.
Since we've made the adjustments too, I've been noticing the last 3 years too, that we've been averaging between 50 to 60,000 profit, so.
Okay.
And let's make it clear, I mean, when we talk about profit, I mean, that's
Right.
money we are reinvesting back in the.
It goes
fleet, so
back
it
into
doesn't
the
look like
service,
we're
right?
leasing people.
And included in that 245,000 is the 90,000 that was
Right.
taken out. For several years in a row, part of the per capita specifically went into an equipment fund. And 2 years ago, maybe, because there were cash flow problems, they moved 90,000 over into the regular cash in EMS to allow them to continue to well, I shouldn't say continue to operate, but
To keep our
operate-
per capita
Right.
down.
Keep our
To
per
keep the
capita
per
down.
capita down, yeah.
So just so
But we-
everybody's aware of that too, that 90,000 that
Is in there.
is in that 245.
We need to replace we need to have an equipment fund that we don't borrow from. That we
Right.
use to replace our ambulances, so we don't get into this situation again, if we can. I know everything's tight, but that's something we should consider.
And Lori, both you and I have been on the fire. They have a replacement thing they do every year. Does the EMS do that or no?
Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was a plan earlier as far as replacement of vehicles. You guys
Right.
had looked, but we got into issues of cash flow problems, and
Right.
that's when we took
Yeah.
the 90,000.
This
from
plan
there.
initially was developed about 5 years ago, just because we first saw the equipment aging
Right.
and that, and
So all your equipment that you use in the Durango will fit into the Expedition?
yeah, because the bid specifically measured out that type of SUV.
Okay,
'Cause-
so we don't have to have any other, there's no other.
no,
equipment
the
that-
existing lights, siren, and that will be transferred from the Durangos into the Ford now, including the cabinet that we keep all of our equipment in there. So,
Okay, anybody
plus
else?
anything less that we get the trade in for the Dodge.
Okay. Anybody?
Is there anything to be learned from the water department, which seems to operate very effectively and has a tremendous amount of cash available for their replacement of equipment? And are they doing something that maybe we should look at in the other departments?
It's a different type of, that's a usage-based.
Yep.
This is a per capita base, so in order to increase the revenue to provide them that, we would have to.
So you don't think there's anything to be learned in what they're doing as far as
When
equipment
Medicare starts
replacement?
paying water bills, they will start to have problems.
We're only getting
$200.
about.
I don't know the
30
differences, all I know is that they
What are we
operate pretty
losing
well.
Oh,
Well,
usually
it's just a-
800, depending on the call, right?
Right, so we're writing off probably 30 to 40%.
Okay, I
of
just
what
thought
we
I'd
do.
ask, because it's run very
It's a
well.
good
Frustrating thing.
I would love to get the water department's system going, but just different type of service in that. so.
Any other questions? We had sealed bids and we came in with two different vehicles. They came to you? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the
Move
purchase
to
of?
approve
Okay.
purchase of the Ford Expedition for $26,099.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Review bids and consider awarding contract for Public Works Garage roof replacement. Lori?
Well, only one bid came in from Eau Claire Roofing. This project is, we needed to go with prevailing wage requirements. And some of the people that were initially interested in bidding the project decided not to. So that's one of the consequences of the lowering.
That may be yeah, under
Yeah.
the new bill, I'm not sure of the effective date, but.
Great. So right now, we just have one bid from Eau Claire Roofing for $34,911, but they have a 5-year longer warranty than, I believe, the other, Tom's here, than the other process did, so Tom feels confident and has checked out some of their references as well, so.
This is something we've been trying to do for what, 3 years, Tom? Maybe longer? Is there any other discussion? You guys are on Public Works. Is that you want a second? Okay, any other
We
discussion?
have
We
a
have a
motion.
motion?
That was a motion.
Okay. Is there a well, we got a second. Any other discussion? You guys have already gone through that. All in favor? Aye. And that's $6,000, roughly $5,500 under our budgeted amount. Review bids and consider awarding contract for Second and Vine intersection project. Again, capital bonding, we put in $25,000. Lori?
Just one bid came in for this project as well, and that's from Eurotech. And we had heard from the gentleman from Eurotech earlier. It's scheduled to be performed on a Sunday between June 10th and August 14th. It's not been specified yet. The bid came in at $24,990, and as a result is not subject to the prevailing wage provision. So we would like to move that we go ahead with Eurotech and allow them to fix the intersection.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Review service agreements for the Blue Strem Forestry Consulting, Inc. and Froth for the Urban Forestry Management Plan. Tom, do you want to come up and talk about that? Or Lori, are you
Fine.
prepared?
As part of the forestry program, we took bids for the tree inventory and management plan. We took those accepted the bid from Blue Stem Forestry Consulting for that portion of the project. The other portion of the plan included a software management plan. That plan, we awarded the contract to Tree Sites software, which both engineering firm handles. So we had the city attorney review both contracts, and there was some verbiage changes, and I think all of that has been worked out.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tom, maybe you could just tell people at home what the system's going to let your department do, once we have all the trees logged into the database.
On the software portion of it,
Yeah.
once the inventory is, tree inventory is completed and all the data is collected, then that'll be installed in the software program. Once that's in there, we'll have a better handle on risk trees that we may have within the city. We'll have a better knowledge of how many ash trees that we have that we may be looking at for future emerald ash borer. We'll have a better handle on maintenance projects and things that we have to do with our trees. As we plant trees, as we trim trees, that we can document all the maintenance on that, and that'll help us get future grants, and we'll be able to keep track of all our maintenance projects.
Tom, can you talk about the costs again? We,
Um,
what did we budget for this? Did we have anything in the budget for this?
The total project could go up to $34,000.
All
We're
right.
below that.
But it's,
We
For
budgeted
for the management plan,
yep,
that portion of it was $6,000.
okay,
$5,000 for the purchase of the software, and $1,000 for maintenance fee. That'll be an ongoing thing that,
Okay.
it's a web-based program, and after talking with Mike Kruger today, that 20% of the cost of the software is a normal, cost or share, portion of that. That usually takes care of repairs, updates, any problems that we might have, and for consulting if we have issues with the program.
so the $23,987, half of that is funded by the DNR, would that be
For
correct?
the whole project, half will be funded. We can get up to
35,000.
17,500. We can get-
35,000 is what you approved, and then 17, up to 35, up to 17.5 can come back from DNR.
Okay,
matching.
but at this point, we've approved 23,000, the contract is 23,000, almost 24,000?
For the inventory management plan,
Right.
and then $6,000 for the tree sites and the software.
That was approved before.
Right. So what I'm trying to get to is we have about $30,000 in this project so far,
Yes, sir.
and then 15 of that will come because they'll do half,
Yep.
correct?
That's correct.
So we have 15,000 that the city's responsible for.
Although there are things like I've had hours, our time put
Right, we
into that, we
yep.
can deduct that, so it'll probably be a little less than the 15,000.
Okay, so how much in your budget did we have for this, Tom? Do you
My
remember?
operating budget?
Yep,
35,
35,000? Okay,
with 17.5 coming back, up to 17.5 coming back on the revenue side.
Well, that's been a discussion all along, but as out of the operating budget,
okay,
Okay, everybody's got everybody confused, so.
so am I, that's what I want to
We
get.
have to budget the full amount.
Right.
Which is 35,000 in the
Okay.
expenditure side.
Correct.
On the revenue side, we can get up to 17.5 back, so the net cost to the city could be up to 17,500
Maximum,
maximum.
that's all I wanted to
We
know.
have to budget it, the full amount as the expense.
Okay,
I would though like to, maybe Dennis could answer a few questions, and one would be, how many users can be allowed to use this system, and can multiple users be on at the same time, and what browser does the system use? Do you have those?
why don't you come on up, Dennis? If you have the answers.
Yeah, well, there are several, 2 to 3 users can be on at a given time, and we'll be training staff, excuse me, to be the users of the program. There'll also be, like Tom mentioned, some of the other attributes will be residents will have access for viewing if the city chooses to do so, but only the city staff will have access for editing and monitoring. As far as your last question,
What browser system does this use? Is there like a browser?
that one I'll have to get back to you on. I don't know the specific browser. There was a question that it did come up also at Public Works about who owns the data, and if Fulth is no longer working with the city ever, someday, hopefully not. The city owns the data, and you can import it into another software program or just into Excel spreadsheets, but we would assist at that time with any conversion if necessary.
Remember,
for
we
getting
keep this
that
in
answer.
recording now. No, I'm just kidding.
Fine by me.
It doesn't work on percentages.
All right, anybody, thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Anybody have any comments?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve the services agreement.
Second?
Okay,
My turn.
you guys, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. I think that's an important, for our Parks Department and our tree inventory. Good job, Tom. Item 11 is discuss option for disposal of yard waste. Every year, we spend roughly $40,000 on recycling leaves in our city. And we've possibly have some alternative for that. Lori, why don't you, you guys talked about it at Public Works, if you want to tell me what you came up with.
This came out of some discussion that's taken place at the Intergovernmental Advisory Board level. One thing I'd like to see is City of Hudson and surrounding municipalities consider some sort of plan for a compost site where people can drop off yard waste and also pick up compost. It's an expensive proposition and it's not easy to get DNR approval. But one thing that was suggested from North Hudson was they said, why don't you guys do what we do? They have an optional collection system just for yard waste, so residents can opt in or opt out of it. You just opt in. You have to call and ask to be part of it. You have a 96-gallon container that gets picked up once a week. Right now it's on Fridays. In addition to that 96-gallon container, you can also have up to 10 of those biodegradable bags at the curbside, or 10 bundles of sticks and twigs, or some combination. You could have 5 bags and 5 bundles of they said actually you can have tree limbs too. They're not specifying, it's just 40 pounds is the limit on the bundles. The cost would be, I thought Troy was going to be here. Is he here? Oh, you are here. Okay, that's okay. The cost is going to be $90 per year, or you can sign on a monthly basis. So if, let's say you just want to take part May and June, and then again September and October, it's $20 per month if you do anything less than a full year. What am I missing?
Nope, I think you covered it real well. Like I said, what we do is if you sign up for a year, which is $90, we build over a 12-month period, $7.50 per month. Otherwise, you can go $20 per month. A lot of people just want to do the spring and the fall. A lot of people just opt out for that. The reason it's a little more expensive, we have to deliver the carts and pick up the carts at the end of the month, and that costs some money to do that. The system really works well. Right now, the current residents of the Hudson have to go purchase tags either at Family Fresh or County Market. So this program, they just call, set up, we deliver the carts. They go on a weekly schedule. So every week we'll drive by their house. They don't have to call anymore. They just have to put it out for us to take it. And it'll be a regular route that we'll have. Right now what we do is they call in. We get anywhere from 25 to 80 work orders. Then we have to sit there and try to put them in order so the driver can go from one house to another house to another. If you can make a route out of it, it runs more efficiency. There'll be less misses. It'll just be a more efficient program for us to run. And with now lifting the bags and having the cart tipper do some of the work, obviously we have to lift the additional bags, but we can put those inside the cart and dump them that way. It's a little bit easier on the body too.
I'd like to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Not suggesting it, but why would we want to give them any more money or tax or put any more cost to our residents? Why don't we just have our open burnings again?
Well, you know what, I mean, that is a topic that could be brought up, at another time maybe, but one problem with it is this is green, this is fresh cut grass, it's fresh clippings, you're not going to burn it.
Right.
And right now, honestly, it is a hassle. I always joke and say you have to just about gift wrap your yard waste to get it picked up. You have to buy the bags, you have to buy the tags, you have to call. One question was asked, and I ran this by Troy. Someone said, what if I don't want another 96-gallon, container? You said that you could just put the bags out.
Yep, and just put out a route. The routing is the key to this whole system, and we spend, up to, an hour some days sorting out, putting it in the display for a driver to go out there and pick it up. Sometimes we start down on First and work up to Canary. Sometimes we go Canary. Different people learn at different things. Our compost is kind of an entry-level position, so we have different people we promote throughout the year. So very rarely does that position stay someone doing it for years and years, even months and months. So we got some new people learning it, and if it was routed, it's a lot easier to train and just a better program for us.
And this is optional.
Right,
Yeah.
it's optional.
Nobody,
But I think one thing people might realize where it's really beneficial is in the fall. If you wanted to mulch leaves and maybe stage it over a period of time, you could get your leaves out on the curb instead of escorting them to our leaf pile.
Well, you could burn them in 2 hours on a weekend. too.
Well, and that's that's a topic of, I think
should
would
bring
be
that up
worth bringing up. But this is a
I
kind of a
understand your green
spring,
point.
summer.
You know, I do understand that. Just a thought.
Rich?
Well, I think since it's totally optional, they're offering to provide a service which no one is required to take, and I
Right.
don't know where there's a negative for anybody. There's not a negative for the city. As a matter of fact, this could also offset some current costs that we have.
Right.
Because we do have some cost involved in picking things up here and there, when people cut trees down and those other types of things. So I just see it as a win-win for everybody. I mean, the people who want it obviously need it, and they have the option of taking it. And the city will benefit also.
So how soon would you guys start dropping off containers?
if we get this approved, like I said, what we'd probably do is figure out some way to get out to our customers. We won't bill again till 7/25. We just bill on the 26th every month. It's our fiscal thing. So we talked to Lori about putting an ad in the paper or doing something to kind of jumpstart this, to get people, the word out there.
We put it on a website.
Yeah, we can definitely put it on a website and add it to that, but we could start immediately, but I think that it's just getting the information, the educating people is the key to this. It could start out real slow, but I think the more information and education we get out there, I think people will take advantage of it. Because the same people are the ones calling in almost every week. That there's a core of customers out there that go to the county markets and go pick up these tags and buy these biodegradable bags and have to call Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and, a lot of times they forget, and, it's not the most important thing, so it'd be something that would just be a little bit nicer to have it scheduled every week, just like their trash
Okay.
and their recycling every other week.
It might be a good source of information, where when you buy the tags, have the information there so they can hand it to them when they buy the tags.
Yep, well, you won't need a
As an
tag. Yep.
You said,
Yeah,
Troy,
as an
the
option.
TAG program would still
Yep,
be
that's
going
when I-
on.
yep.
If people want to do that, you can still put a bag or two out, but you have to call, and
Do we need a motion on that to
I
recommend?
would love to make a motion.
Okay.
That we, let me ask one quick question.
Yep.
As far as any contracting issues, can this just be an
An
addendum?
add-on to our
Yeah,
existing-
we don't have to change anything with our existing contract. So I
Are
would.
you okay with that?
Add on.
Yeah, we're okay with that. I mean, it's an add-on program. It has,
Okay.
if this didn't work out and nobody signed up, it could go away just as easy as we add it on.
Okay.
So I'd make a motion that we approve the proposal submitted by Veolia.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consider aeration blower replacement energy conservation project for the wastewater treatment plant. Jim, looks like a real good deal.
You think so? Yeah, we're kind of excited about it. Our largest electrical energy user at our facility are our aeration blowers. We have 4 100 horsepower multi-stage blowers. 3 of those were installed in 1979. 1 of those was installed in 1999. So this project looks at replacing one of the blowers that was installed in 1979 with a single stage 50 horsepower blower. So just the difference in horsepower minus any other savings that would appear that we would have a significant savings here. Detailed specs were sent to 3 manufacturers that manufacture high-efficiency aeration blowers and also provide local representation and service. The specifications included a 90-day trial period where we could evaluate the electrical demand by the blower itself and also evaluate the quality, workmanship of the blower, and determine that it is useful for our needs. We only had one reply, or one quote, sent to us from APG Neuros. And that quote was for $58,000. Their guaranteed savings for the blower annually, they estimate at $7,846. Of course, we'll be evaluating that during our 90-day trial period. We expect to see a little more savings than that, actually. The payback then, with the energy savings, would be 7.4 years. We had applied for, ahead of this solicitation, applied for a grant and received that grant for $14,156. That makes the payback 5.6 years. The grant expires in December 31st of this year. So we have time to do our 90-day trial period, evaluate it, and determine where to go from there. But we anticipate that it will meet all the performance requirements, and if it does, we would recommend that we purchase the blower after that trial period and evaluation,
Okay.
and refund $14,156 from the grant into our equipment replacement fund. So the funding for this would come from our equipment replacement fund, which we have adequate money in. So.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Good job, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider name changes of two businesses with alcoholic beverage license, Rub's Pizza and Eatery and La Festa Mexican. Nancy, this is just housekeeping?
This is just pretty much a housekeeping thing. We've received in writing two different requests that businesses want to change their doing business as name, so it doesn't have anything to do with their LLCs or member changes or anything else like that. They just want to change the name they do business as. So they've put that in writing. I included in the issue sheets the licensing and regulation of alcohol beverages recommendation about how to handle it. So we've been notified, and now the governing body should
Approve the change.
approve the change, and then I'll amend the license to reflect the name change, and they'll surrender their current license.
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other business to be brought forward at our next finance meeting?
We will be starting to get the budget information out, hopefully by the end of the month, to the department heads. We did discuss it at the department head meeting the other day.
Okay.
When will we get room tax?
From the second quarter,
Yeah,
by the end of July.
okay.
So they'll start
Maybe
trickling in, so we should
Early
be able to.
August.
Kathy usually gets a report done for this meeting or August, I would say. So.
Okay,
And there should be an increase because
yeah.
with the tournament in town, all three of those motels are sold for 12 days. Hopefully that will be reflected.
It's gonna be on the next agenda.
Can I ask a question, since it is finance? Do we have a new finance director?
Oh, yes. Yes, he is starting
August
August
No,
1st.
not April.
Yes, he accepted our position. Yeah.
Okay.
He thought he might be here tonight, but if not, he will be here at the next meeting just to introduce himself.
Okay. Any other business? Move for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.